everybody, my name is Rowana and I am a nursing student here in Australia, and today I wanted to do a recap video about how I did in my very first semester of nursing school. If you don't know me, I am doing a Masters of Nursing program at the University of Sydney and I am in my very first year. So this is a 2-year program and it's an accelerated program, and at the end of this I get to become a registered nurse and practice as an RN in Australia. Because it's a master's program, I have actually done an undergraduate in psychology and neuroscience, which has been extremely helpful going into the course. You don't have to have a degree in biology or anatomy, physiology, anything like that to get into this course. You can be from business, you could be from marketing, any of those sorts of things, doesn't matter. And you can get into this course and it's only 2 years to become a registered nurse. Amazing. In this video, I'm going to talk about my overall feelings of the course, the program, how I felt in nursing school in general. I also wanted to talk about the workload, the assignments, the exams, and then I want to share with you my grades as well to share with you how I did, essentially. All right, first of all, overall feeling. I really enjoyed this program. I loved going into uni every day. I don't know why, because in my undergraduate there were definitely days that I just didn't want to turn up at all. But yeah, I super enjoyed going into uni every day. And I also made some really great friends, which is just amazing. Everyone is so supportive, everyone is lovely, everyone is there to try and boost your confidence and help you learn, and I really like that atmosphere of nursing. Because at the end of the day, it's not about competing with each other to get the best position or to get the top marks, because you're learning so that you can save lives and benefit patients and help patients to get better. And if you're helping other people in that role, then that's just going to benefit everybody. And I really enjoyed that atmosphere at this program. Another thing that I wanted to mention in terms of the overall feeling is that nursing school is hard work. Really hard work, and you really have to put in the effort to actually get the grades that you want and make sure that you're understanding everything. And it really scares me that you could go into clinical placements and forget something that you've learnt and it could actually be detrimental to someone's nursing care. Yeah, it's really scary when you think about it like that. There are a lot of things that you have to learn, and there are clinical placements where you have to do your hours and you have to make sure that you pass everything, and it's like a pass or fail as well. So yeah, there's a lot to do. That being said, I actually felt like I was on top of everything. And I know that sounds really oh, hey me, I'm really good at this. But I felt like because I was doing better with my organization skills and was able to do things more efficiently and effectively, I actually felt more joy going into things, and I didn't feel stressed, and I actually felt like I could get through all of the workload even though there was a lot to do, which actually makes me feel really good, because I know that I can actually get through a lot of workload and still get through it without feeling like I'm failing, which is a big improvement from my undergraduate degree. So yeah, that's the overall feeling about how I did. I'm very happy with my marks, and I'll go through those later on. But yeah, I overall am absolutely loving this program and loving the fact that I'm going to be a nurse in less than 2 years. Okay, moving on to the workload. Now, because this is an accelerated program and it's everything condensed into 2 years essentially, there is a lot to know and it's very fast-paced. So I had one course that is pretty much all of your anatomy, physiology, and pharmacology condensed into one, and we didn't do all of the body systems, but we did a lot of them, and there's a lot to know and a lot of content in one lecture, and you are expected to do your own learning outside of the lectures and outside of the tutorials to make sure that you're keeping up to date with everything. And that was something that I found very different to my undergraduate. Everything in my undergraduate was kind of spoon-fed to you. You only had to know what was on the lecture slides and that was it. And they weren't going to test you on something that wasn't in one of the lecture slides. Whereas these, I felt like the programs were giving you the essential tools that you needed to know about that particular topic, and then you still had to kind of complement it with some of your own research and readings, which they did give you some suggestions for readings as well. So yeah. Something else in terms of workload is that there are a lot of readings, and it's great that they give you like a whole list that you can kind of sift through, make sure that you're understanding things. And some of them I did skip because I found them a little bit boring, or like they just said the same thing as one of the other readings, so I didn't think it was that necessary. But there are a lot that they give you. They're not compulsory, like you don't get tested in particular on those readings, but there were some that did come up in some of my exams, but they had hinted beforehand that they would, so it was kind of okay. But yeah, I think that the readings took up majority of my study time because they were the most time consuming in terms of what actual study I was doing. Because a lot of the other study I was trying to do was more like active learning based, and I would not do them for long periods of time, whereas when you're reading a big chapter, you kind of have to like sit there for like an hour or 2 hours just kind of reading, and it's just like, it gets really boring very quickly. Something I will say to get through those is to make sure that you're doing some active learning as you're reading the textbook or reading the reading that you have to do. So what I would like to do is at the end of a couple of pages or a topic or something within that chapter, I would kind of quiz myself and like talk to myself, talk back about what I just read, what I had learned, and if I had any questions, I would write them down. And that way I could research my particular questions if they weren't answered in the textbook. And it makes me like actively recall and actively learn what the subject is actually talking about. So that's really helpful, and I think that's a good tip if you need some tips for reading as well. Something else about workload is the actual contact hours that I had to be at uni. So there are actually, let me count this. So I only had up to 20 contact hours per week, and some of those weeks I didn't even have some of the classes because they rotated, like they alternate every couple of weeks. So I found that the contact hours were a lot less than I was thinking they would be. I think in my undergraduate, a couple of my semesters I had between 25 to 30 contact hours a week, which is a lot. And then you're expected to do, I can't remember what the ratio of work outside of those hours is supposed to be, but something along the lines of like 2 hours per course per week on top of that. I can't remember. Yeah, so you are expected to also do additional study outside those hours. So in terms of actual contact hours, a lot more minimal than I thought. I got into the habit of going in regularly on like a very similar schedule every day, so that I would be forced to kind of get into the habit of getting there and getting my study done, and then I get home at like 4 o'clock and have nothing to worry about, and it was so much nicer. And I get home and all I had to do was worry about like eating some food, maybe watching a Netflix show, and then getting ready for the next day, basically. So my actual contact hours last semester were 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day, and yeah, I kind of stuck to it. Sometimes I would stay a little bit longer in the evenings or the afternoons to catch up on some work that I needed to do. Maybe I was studying with a friend in the library, going over some notes just before an exam the next day. I don't know, things like that. But most of the time I'd leave at like 1 or 2 o'clock and get home and then like, yeah, chill out, or I would try and do like an hour or two of study later that afternoon when I got home as well. But yeah, so much benefit of like finishing everything before like 5 p.m. and then having the rest of the evening off. Like, it just makes me feel so much better, and having that every day as well, you get into a routine and you don't have to worry about it, and it's just so much less stressful as well. Well, in my opinion anyway. Something else about workload is that I wanted to touch on how much I worked as well, like outside of my course. So I have a job as a medical receptionist, and I work 1 day a week on a Saturday, and I did that consistently throughout the semester. I didn't need to work more than 1 day, thankfully, at the time, so that was really helpful. But I understand that there's a lot of people that are doing the program that need to work a lot more than that because they have like rent to pay or a mortgage or lots of bills and things that they need to actually cover while they're still doing nursing school. So I totally get that, and I totally understand. But for me in particular, I didn't need to work more than 1 day a week, and that was really beneficial for me because it meant that throughout the whole working week, I was just focused on nursing and study, and it meant that I could have the weekend, like the Saturday was just working, and I worked a 7 till 3 shift. So I had the afternoon off again as well. Fantastic. And then Sunday I had off as well, and that was like my complete like chill out day. Sometimes I'd film videos and things like that. But yeah, complete chill day to do nothing. All right, moving on to the assignments and the exams. So assignments, I had 4 assignments throughout the semester that were either like essay based or had like a case study that we had to write about. And I think I did fairly well on those. I gave myself at least 2 to 3 weeks to like prepare for them, write them and hand them in. And I got them in on time every time. And I felt like I wasn't leaving things to the last minute, which was pretty good. The one thing I will say is that I'll probably spend more time on them next semester, because I did feel like I could have done better in a lot of them. And some of my marks were, I mean, I did well, like I was anywhere between like 70 to 85 for my marks for like the 4 different ones. Like I don't remember exactly where they were, but I think the lowest was like a 71 and the highest was an 85. So kind of in that range basically. Oh no, I think I got a 67 on one of them. So yeah, a little bit lower on one of them, 67. I will say that the averages on most of these were around the mid-60s mark as well, just so that you kind of get an like overall picture, because I know that some of the grading systems across different unis and different parts of the world are very, very different. So yeah, average mark is around 65, somewhere in that range. Most of the assignments I actually really enjoyed doing. I thought they were really interesting. I liked learning about those topics, but one of them in particular, I won't go into details about which one it was or why, but I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was something that did bug me a little bit through the semester, and I just want to say it in here. It was, they didn't give a lot of instruction about what they were looking for, and even in the marking rubric, it didn't have much instruction about what actual interventions they were looking for. So it was kind of hard to know what to write about and what level of depth they wanted. And I think that was the one that I struggled with the most. And I spent a lot of time flipping back and forth about what I was actually going to write about, and it actually like really stressed me out a little bit, like, because I just wasn't sure what they were looking for. So I'm hoping that for the other assignments, especially next semester, if it's not clear, I'm probably going to go and speak to the lecturer and just ask for some more clarity around what they're actually looking for. So that's something else as well. My exams, they went really well. I didn't do a lot of study for them in terms of like hard cramming study beforehand. I was happy with the knowledge that I had been to every single lecture. If worse came to worse, I knew I was going to pass. So that like helped to not stress me out, because I had done all the work that I needed to. I didn't need to catch up on anything. So yeah, that knowledge really helped me to not stress about the exams. And then I kind of told myself whatever study I did in the exam study period was basically a bonus. So yeah, that's a really nice thought to have. Okay, I'm now going to go through my final marks for my first semester, and I might put them on the screen somewhere as well. Here you go. So as you can see, I have the unit of study code on the left. Don't worry about that. It's just the number that they give for each unit of study. And then the course name next to it. And then my marks, essentially. So first one, social context of health. This is one that I did really well in the assignment. I got an 85. So I'm wondering, like, if I must have done really badly in the final exam. I don't know what happened there. But my mark was 74. So that's a credit grade for that one. And I think if I had just gotten a 75, I think a 75 to an 85 is the distinction, so I'm a bit annoyed about that, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. The next one, the body, its function, and pharmacology. This is all about like anatomy, physiology, pharmacology. And I got an 84 in this one, which is clearly my best mark on this. And I think that kind of reflects the fact that a lot of this stuff I did in my undergraduate degree, and I did have a better understanding of this course and the coursework itself already. That being said, I've never done pharmacology before, and that was the bit that was stressing me out the most. But I actually found that it was fairly simple once I kind of got into the nitty-gritty of it. And a lot of it is rote learning and memorization, which isn't a bad thing, but it is something that I find more difficult than kind of active learning. So that was a bit different for me, but clearly I did okay in it. Okay, the next one is Introduction to Nursing Practice. This one is more of a medicine or medical nursing based subject, and I did really well in that one as well. I got an 82, which is again a distinction grade. Oh yeah, by the way, for the body, its function, and pharmacology, that was a distinction as well. That's what the DI means. So yeah, distinction grade for introductory nursing. I'm really happy with that mark. I ended up getting, I think for my assignment, I got like a 71, which was really good. And I must have done really well in the exam too. I actually walked out of that exam feeling like I didn't do very well. So this kind of makes me think that I must have done a lot better than I thought I did. So yeah. And then finally, developing nursing practice. So this one is more of a surgical nursing based course. And I've actually just finished my clinical placements in this one, so that's why the grade next to it says RI. I can't remember what it stands for. It's like something incomplete, like red incomplete or something. I can't remember what it means. I'll look it up. But I have to wait until my facilitator approves me on the online system before they can change the grade to what I'm guessing will be a credit because it's a mark of 70. So. The clinical placement is basically just a pass or fail. So, and I already know that I completed the clinical placement and I passed everything and it was satisfactory. So I know it's basically just getting that ticked off online and then that's it. So those are my marks for my first semester of nursing school. I'm really happy with how everything went. I know that there's obviously room for improvement on my marks, and I think next semester I'm going to aim for all distinctions if I can, maybe even a high distinction, who knows. And I think over the next couple of weeks in my uni break, I might make a plan of how I'm going to tackle my study and see if there's anything else that I can be more efficient at as well. Also, let me know if you want a dedicated video about my clinical placements and my kind of overall feelings about those as well. And also if you want to hear about like tips for clinical placements or tips for studying, if there's any videos like that you really want to see from me, then please leave a comment down below and let me know. And apart from that, that's everything. I really enjoyed this semester and I've been really enjoying filming things throughout the semester as well to kind of document how I'm feeling and how I'm going and sharing it with you guys. So yeah, if you like these videos, then please give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel below. If you have any videos you want to see or if any suggestions or comments, then leave a comment down below, and I try and reply to most comments if I can. I mean, I don't have a lot of followers, so when I get a comment, I really like to kind of see your feedback and then write back to you as often as I can. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!